Alright, this video is to understand the wind a little bit better. So I'm going to play down to tour 4. You can see that on the top part of my screen here I have the ball guide, the bag of all my clubs. Extra Mile level 6, Cat 1, Backbone 8, Claw at 5, Firefly 4, Razor 2, and Malibu 5. Now if you see these rings on the aimer. This is my opponent shooting here. See, for us we have the Extra Mile level 6, 2.42 wind per ring. So that being said, at the beginning of the orange ring, that would be 2.4 ring, 2.4 wind. So in this case, that's just about, you could say, about half a ring. Since 2.42, half of that you can say is 1.2 wind. Now I'll explain to you exactly what that means right now. And that works for every club the same way. Just like for the claw, 2 wind. So now I'm gonna go here. Now I have 1.1 wind. That's close to half of 2.42 would be 1.2. So 1.1 is very close to half. So essentially I want my ball to be right there. That's where I want it to land. So I'll make the adjustment of half of a ring. So which means halfway to the orange. See, it's between where I'm aiming, the center of the yellow, and the orange, right between it. And you see, it landed exactly where I wanted it to land. Now the same thing goes. Let's say you have 2.4 wind. That means you're going to adjust it a full ring, which means the beginning of the orange. Now if you have something, let's say 5 wind for the Extra Mile. So 5 wind is double the 2.4 per ring. So it's like saying 2 rings basically. So you'll aim right after the orange, which is the blue, at the start of the blue. Alright, now we have another club that we're going to use here. And I'm going to show you, we're probably going to be using the short iron, the claw, which is 2 wind per ring. Alright, you see the claw. So now it's at 0.9, and this is 2 per ring, so it's basically half. That means also again half ring. Alright, so I'm lined up pretty close to where I want. So now I'm going to go half of a ring. So basically again, the little bit before the orange, between the yellow where I'm aiming. And that should be very, very close to it. Okay. Now, playing with these tours, you have much lower level wind, so the wind is not going to really affect it. But sometimes when you have a driver and you're shooting a far distance, you may get like 4 wind or 5 wind, where you have to make more of a bigger adjustment. On your putts, you have absolutely no wind to worry about, so you can just play that straight up. The time where the wind actually comes into a big difference, or when you really have to be spot on, is in the playoff. In the playoff holes, because it's closest to the hole, so you need to get your wind just right. So now look, this one is, for him it's 6.2 with a long iron. So our long iron is the Backbone. It's 1.48 per ring. So I already know if I'm using the Backbone and it's, so let's say 6 wind, that means it's 1.5 rings per wind. 1.5 wind per ring. So that means double is 3. 4 of them would equal 6. So you would have to adjust for 4 rings. He had a pretty good shot there. I like to use that most of the time as well, but sometimes it's a little tricky. But for this, I'm just going to go ahead and just play it normal. That way so you can understand what I'm trying to say to you. So now, this is essentially where I want the ball to land. So at 5.2 ring, we can estimate it to 5. We know that 4 rings is 6, so it'll be between 3 and 4 rings. So the orange, the beginning of orange, it'll be almost right to the blue. 1, 2. So that's 1.5, that's 3, close to that. And I hit it a little bit to the right. It's alright though, but it's just like I said, this is just a guide just to give you an idea. Hopefully the next game we can get is going to have a little bit more wind, more wind. Alright, so that's 1.